like Paul, and learning from Paul, we want to open ourselves to the divine interruptions in our lives. Those moments in which the rhythms get interrupted by something that seems to throw us all out. We ought to have eyes to see what God might be doing in that moment. Because it may be a God-ordained moment for sharing the good news. Well, this idea of God going ahead of us, of God's grace working out ahead of us in the minds and in the hearts of the people who He is ready to bring the good news. We have a phrase for this in the church. Our churchy phrase is prevenient grace. And the good news is this: every person who has ever come to know the glory of the salvation of Jesus Christ, the Spirit of God was out ahead of them, preparing the path by grace. You see, we cannot save ourselves. We cannot even navigate ourselves to salvation. It takes the work of God divinely in our lives, preparing our hearts for the right moment to receive God's grace. You see, evangelism isn't about convincing people. It's about joining the work that God is already doing. And that means that we can trust the Spirit. We can trust the Spirit in every moment of our lives. That this compulsion to share the good news is undergirded foundationally by the power of the sovereign God in the work of the Holy Spirit in our lives and in the lives of others that we will encounter. We can faithfully step into the opportunities that He presents for us. Before we ever even speak a word, God is already whispering to the hearts of all. And that means if the grace of God is going ahead of us, if prevenient grace is real, if the Spirit is prepping the hearts, then we ought not fear. There should be no fear when it comes to sharing the good news, because the responsibility of what happens in that moment is not upon our ability to share it, but by the Holy Spirit's ability to prep the moment. When we walk with the Spirit, fear has no seat at the table. It gets squeezed out by faith and boldness and divine appointments that we could never orchestrate on our own.